Hello and welcome to another edition of Newspaper Headlines Review on our Gate Radio and Television. My name is Fanan Kwan, welcoming you this morning. And I also have with me in the studio, Shido Taka. Good morning, Shido.
Good morning, Fanan.
How have you been?
Great.
It's been a while and it's so good to see you today.
Okay.
All right, so we also have with us our usual analyst, seasoned journalist. Good morning, Sate Verakasi.
Good morning, Chief Anekwanum.
Oh, I'm a chief already.
You are a chief of broadcasting.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Shido too is a chief of broadcasting.
So today is an assembly of chiefs. All right, so many issues to talk about, beginning from Benue State to across Nigeria and then the whole world. And then one thing is we urge you to stay tuned to the radio and then stay glued to your screen as you watch us on Agate Television and then listen to us on Agate Radio. We're also live on www.agateradiotv.com. And if you go to Facebook, Agate TV, Radio TV 1, that's our handle, and then you get to watch us live. We're also streaming live on YouTube on Agate Television. So we're starting with our newspaper. And Agate News is a tabloid, like I said. You can locate it on newsstands across north central Nigeria and beyond. But this morning, first on the Agate News is failure to address insecurity, reason for defection, defectors tell APC. Failure to address insecurity, reason for defection, defectors tell APC. Benue indigents in Abuja applaud Wike's transformation agenda. And then we have 82 billion education budget. Teachers sit on windows, pupils on floor in Otukpa. Otukpa is a local government area in Benue State in the Zone C axis. Police arrest farmer in Benue for allegedly poisoning cows that grazed on his rice farm. Akume, Wike, G5 members console Otom over death of his brother. We also have Tinubu is making bold decisions, and this is coming from Otom's aide, and who is right here with us in the studio. And then we can't take it anymore. All right. So these are some of the newspaper, the headlines. Sorry, we have in our newspaper, Agate News. But briefly, we're going to talk about failure to address insecurity, reason for defection, defectors tell APC. And then once we are done with that, and then we'll head to what other papers are saying. All right, so when it comes to topics like this, I like to go straight to Chief Akase because this is politics. He's a journalist that is so much interested in politics. So and he should have one or two to say concerning that. All right, so failure to address insecurity, reason for our defection. And then this is where some Nigerians will tell you that they are not loyal. If they were loyal, they should stay. But
and help to solve the problem.
We had to shift grounds.
Yeah, an alternative platform. Security should not be mixed, but because those who are in power are politicians, they were elected. And one of the reasons in Nigeria, in the past more than a decade, elections are won primarily on account of security and the economy. These two factors, or variables, if you like. In 2015, he promised that the Jonathan administration had failed to safeguard Nigeria, to protect Nigerians, and the issues of the Chibok girls who were abducted and so many other incidents, the bombings that were happening across Nigeria. Jonathan was seen to be incapable of, tackling insecurity in Nigeria. So President Buhari, then General Muhammadu Buhari, viewed as a former warlord, a general of high repute, an incorruptible person. In quotes now, because we did 8 years and we have seen the records are there. I don't want to go into that. Now, but the point I'm making is, want something that could turned the fortunes of Nigeria from insecurity to security. And in 2019, Buhari was returned as for a second term because he still promised that he was going to do better. In the end, the reverse was the case. Benue, for instance, had a very bad portion of insecurity. Never happened anywhere in Nigeria apart from the northeast. The north central, especially Benue State, had a very bad share of the killings. Now, 2023 as well, Buhari was seen as a failure. That all the promises that he made, he couldn't keep any of them in terms of security. So in came President Tinubu, who rode on the crest of someone who provided the dividends of democracy for Lagosians, 1999 to 2007. So Nigerians saw hope that, okay, yes, many people preferred a Peter Obi, but especially in terms of the economy. But Tinubu had his way and got elected. And the same thing is happening in Benue State. The present government came, it rode on the crest of criticism of the previous administration, that they were coming, they had the moniker of the messiahs, people who would come and make things perfect for everyone in the state. And they criticized heavily the then administration of Samuel Otom. They said Governor Otom was behind the killings. In fact, they were very blunt like that. They accused him of sponsoring the rustling of Fulani cows and turning around to accuse Fulanis. And they made a lot of insinuations. And they said they were coming at that in 100 days, they will return the IDPs to their ancestral homes, that in a short time they will do this, in a short time they will do this, that there will be perfect peace in Benue State. So the people believed them. The people said, hey, here comes the Messiah, that at last Benue will have no problem. And they were elected. And now they are here. But from what you can hear the people say, the people seem to be grossly dissatisfied. Because number one, the government seems not to believe. If anyone is saying they are not satisfied and they are leaving a political party for another, it is difficult to separate insecurity from governance or from politics, because those who are in charge of the security apparatuses of the state are politicians. The military are not in power anymore. So you elect politicians to support security agencies to provide security of lives and property. So I do not disagree with those who
you
say
said,
they are leaving the political
okay, so
party.
you said it's so hard to separate issues of security from politics. And just listening to you talk and watching what's happening, you begin to think that the political undertones are stopping us from concentrating on the main issues to help solve the issue of security.
Well, that is a very good question. I do not agree with those who politicize issues of security, and that's why some of us faulted the current government of Benue State when they were campaigning. They politicized security issues. They accused the Otom administration of using livestock gas to impound Fulani cows, and that was the reason for the herdsmen to keep attacking our people. Now the question is, if you said that Otom was behind the using the livestock gas to impound Fulani cows, and that resulted in the attacks on the people, who is using the livestock gas now? Who is making the herdsmen to come attack our people? That is why it is not good for issues of security to be politicized.
Exactly. Because
when you politicize it, number one, you have denied yourself the opportunity of knowing the root causes of these problems. Because when head SDP or Labour Party or SDP member, when they come to attack a community, they do not ask, because the houses of politicians are not, their names are not written on their doors. So when bandits or whoever comes to attack a community, they do not look at faces. So it is wrong for you to politicize it. And that's why we warned at that time, before the 2023 elections. We said, you guys do not politicize this, because we are in here, we know exactly what the problem is. The problem is that we're the ones causing the problem, and the people believed them somehow, and they were elected. So now they are turning around someone who has been there. You may not understand the core issues of why certain things are happening. So, but the issue here is that when you are wrong, you are wrong. And the best thing to do is to admit that you got to the problem. That's the way to go.
Just lastly on that, I think on Sunday there was last Sunday there was another good governance and transparency in Nigeria, led by its chief convener, Comrade Igwe Manta, and they had names that we know. And I said, okay, for instance, what happened to a few days ago? I think some of the persons were later arrested also.
Yes.
So now, you have arrested these persons, and a group is there pointing fingers at certain people. So why don't you, give room for deep investigation, to pave the way to the root causes of these issues? Since persons have been identified, persons have been arrested, I think it's a good ground for investigation.
It is, and that's why it is always very good for investigation of issues to be done. Allegations are easy to be made. And that's why the law says someone is not guilty until it's proven otherwise.
Yeah.
So when allegations of that nature are made, it is good that those in charge should, purge themselves of all sentiments, all stereotypes, all prejudices, and delve into the issues and investigate and come up with solutions that will be good for everybody. But simply saying that these people are wrong, these ones are wrong, you may be missing the point. So I agree with you, Fanny.
All right, on that note, Shido, let's move to the next paper.
Yes, moving ahead, this morning we have the Punch newspaper and opening CBN accounts. Governors tighten grip as central bank rolls out stringent account opening guidelines. The Punch has that. We also have anger as police disrupt protests, deploy choppers. And my selection as a laughing divine, not political, says Oba Awade. 4 arrested, killed. So you have to check that in the Punch newspaper. U.S. imported $643 million Nigerian goods in 2 months, says report. And then 78,000 Cameroonians, others sought asylum in Nigeria, UN. And then factional firestorm, Obi Abure camps clash over parallel NEC meetings. Let's look at the local government autonomy. Governors block council chairman from opening CBN accounts. It's been 9 months after, the Supreme Court granted full autonomy to the 774 local governments across the country, paving the way for direct payment of federal locations. And now the story is here that the governors are blocking that chance.
Why I'm laughing is that sometimes you look at the Nigerian situation and it's like a theater of the absurd. Like, what's going on? I thought we have a third-tier government in Nigeria, the federal, state, and local government. So how on earth will governors see local governments as appendages or rather as the extension of government house? No, it is not. And this crop of governors, the current crop of governors, raised a lot of allegations against their predecessors. That they were coming with transparency, they will be accountable to the people, they will allow autonomy for local governments. They were singing it like a song.
Finally, it always looks good looking from the outside,
Now, they are here as governors. And for them, Mr. President has been wonderful in giving autonomy to local governments. And he has gone to the Supreme Court and got judgment and directed the central bank that make sure that local governments establish accounts with you. so that you'll be sending money directly to local governments. And suddenly the governors who promised local government chairman and threatened them that if you dare open an account with the CBN, then you are in trouble. I have read stories that in some states, the local governments have even agreed that, okay, Oga Governor, we will be giving you 50% of the allocations.
Wow.
Yet the governors have said, no, we want 100%. So can you imagine? Well, these are the same guys who campaigned against their predecessors and said they were riding on the horse of a white horse of transparency and accountability to government house. And when they get in there, they will be for the people. They will do what the people want. There will be a local government. There will be autonomy for local governments. But you are sincere, and you want to be able to go directly to the local governments. Pages of the state is from that time. So it is condemning. This is since fuel subsidy was removed, 120 million, some 100 million, some highest. I think Boko was receiving like 150 million or so. Now Boko is receiving also in Zone C. Should be getting around 350 million. Those ones were getting 100 million in those days. Now they are getting as much as almost 400 million. And now someone sits somewhere and is saying, we will not allow this money to go to you. So it's wrong. If you allow money to go to local governments directly, the chairman there will be held accountable by the people. Number one, they don't have autonomy, they don't have immunity. So they will be afraid of the EFCC and ICPC. Because if they mismanage the money, EFCC and ICPC, we quiz them, we arrest them and prosecute them. They don't have immunity like governors and presidents. So it is important that we allow the money go to them so that the the local government legislatures will put checks on them. So it is wrong that governors are not allowing the funds to go to local government. Now the people should know that the governors are the problem. The governors are the problem because the federal government has done its own bit. President Tinubu has done his own bit. The Supreme Court has done its own bit. And the CBN is ready. And you know what they are afraid? The CBN, one of the conditions is that every 2 months you bring your statement of account to the CBN. That is what the provisions, that's what the terms say. That every 2 months, each local government of the 774 in Nigeria must tender their statement of account to the CBN. And you know that the governors are the ones who, and that even before the accounts that are created, that's the condition. Before your account is opened at the CBN, you must present your last 2 months statement of account. And you know, if you take the statement of account as it is now,
something will definitely happen.
To the CBN, what you will see there, you will not like what you will see there. So that's why they are afraid. But I don't think they should be afraid. All they should do is go and do confession. Go and testify that, look, yes, now you want to do the right thing. So, this thing has happened, but from now going forward, we'll draw a line.
That's right.
So pay them the money and we're okay.
Because I was itching, Fernand, to ask that where do we go from here? Because if we say don't open these accounts, will we ever get to that point where we say the local governments are autonomous?
That's it. That is the thing. And that's why some of us who are analysts are begging the governors. Say, look, take the 2 months statement of accounts of the local governments and take to CBN. I don't think they will kill them. No matter the rubbish they will see there, they will say, okay, we'll draw a line, like I've said.
Yeah.
That whatever thing has happened, we are not looking at that. But from now going forward, your accounts must be in your custody. Monies will be going to you directly, so you will be accountable to your people, and the governors will no longer be the ones to answer, to be responsible for your accounts. So I don't think they should be afraid. Some of them have promised to give 50% of the remittances. They'll be remitting 50% of their allocations too.
Which is also not correct.
To the state. It's not even correct.
Right.
But they are looking for a soft landing. They are looking for a way forward. That, okay, if you insist, take 50%, give us 50%. And that too, the governors are saying no. In fact, some governors have threatened their local government chairman, if we ever see you at the CBN, then you are in trouble with us.
The way he's making it look like
So, look, this is where we are, and I think the people should tell the governors to take it easy, because what the federal government has done, like I talked about the issue of insecurity. If a local government chairman is controlling his allocation, he has the DPO in his local government under his care. He has the DSS office in his local government. He has a civil defense office in his local government. These are security heads in the local government. He will be holding security meeting with them and the traditional rulers. The head of the traditional council of that local government will be a member of the security council of the local government. The speaker of the house, legislative house, will be part of that. So these people will sit at that level and make laws and take action. Attention is drawn to, and that will even help the governors, because all what is the situation now is that every small security breach, even in a ward, not even the entire local government, the governor's attention is drawn to. But if the local government chairman have their money under their control, they should be able to mobilize police immediately there is a breach anywhere. They will be able to, now the state has vigilante, or what do you call them? It was community volunteer guards under OTOM. Okay. Now I think it's a civil protection guards. Good. So these people are in every local government. They will be directly under the supervision of the council chairman, and that will help to galvanize security, galvanize the people to to be able to solve matters quickly at that level, instead of always coming cap in hand to the state executive council.
All right, Shido, I think we should give it all. We should send kudos to, I think, is it Delta or Edo?
Yeah, I think Delta is the only state now.
The only state out of the 36 and the Federal Capital Territory that has allowed its local government councils to go to the CBN open accounts. That I must give kudos to them. And it is also worrisome that that huge number, not even half of the number, have allowed that. So the Nigerian situation is indeed something to worry about.
That's right.
But then another issue I'm looking at is that issue of implementation. You know, when this when the legislation or when the verdict of the Supreme Court came, Nigerians were so happy. We went across the street, you know,
we thought it was a
getting their views, and everybody was so happy with that verdict. But 9 months down the line, we're still debating. In the next 3 months, it should be a year.
Yes.
All right. So now, I'm looking at the enforcement of this verdict from the federal government, and I want to draw the issue of Rivers State close, where the federal government said, okay, henceforth there will be no allocation going to Rivers State. And since you have not presented budget, you know, the saga that happened there.
Right.
So I'm just thinking that, is it not possible to say that since local governments have not opened account, we cease sending them allocation until they do the right thing? Wouldn't that be possible?
Yeah, I think, but the Supreme Court said that, you know, the trick that the state governors are using is that they are not saying no directly. They know they cannot go to the CBN and tell them no. They are not speaking. They are speaking to the local government chairman. They themselves are not speaking. The local government chairmen are the ones not stepping forward.
But I think that should even be a good ground. Since you are not stepping forward, we don't send you money.
That is it. But you see, I agree with you. That is where the CBN should use its power that was also declared recently by the Supreme Court, that thenceforth monies should not be sent to the local governments that are not properly constituted, and that means if you do not have an elected local government council, then you do not benefit. You do not get allocations. So I think they should activate that clause now in the pronouncement by the Supreme Court. So if they do that, the governors are being smart. They are not speaking. They are quiet, but they are watching the local government chairman. That if you dare go there, then you have a problem with us. So if the CBN and the Ministry of Finance activate that clause, which they have power to do so, then states will be starved of local government funds until your local government account is presented. But you know, these things are more than meet the eye. They are more than meet the eye. You may be surprised that certain things are happening behind the scenes that are warranting this kind of delay. But let's pray and hope that the right thing is done as quickly as possible.
All right, you're still watching Agate Television. The program is Newspaper Headlines Review, and you're also listening to Agate Radio. We'll take a break now, and when we are back, we'll look at more stories.
Keep watching Agate Television.
Keep watching Agate Televisions.
Big shout out to Agate Television, Sky's your limit.
Keep watching Agate Television.
All my people, keep watching Agate Television. Watch out for more.
Agate Television, we love you.
Special shout out to Agate Television.
Agate Television, you're the best. Shout out, peace.
Shout out to Agate Television. I love you. You're the best.
Best channel, all the fun, the live shows, the best of the best you can get.
Agate TV, one of the best rising televisions in North Central Nigeria, which everybody should actually look out for.
Welcome back. You're still watching Agate Television. The program is Newspaper Headlines Review. My name is Fanan Kwana. I'm with Shido Taka, and the analyst is TV Akasi. Before we went on our break, we were looking at the Punch newspaper.
2027 APC governors visit Buhari amid associates defections to SDP. And the talk about 2027 continues, and we are right here in 2025, right? But we're already talking about 2027. What does this mean, for the governors visiting Buhari?
Well, it's quite interesting. I listened to the governor of Imo State, who is the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum. He said they went to look after Buhari too. They went to see that Buhari is doing well, and that was very good to hear. And but that's the interesting thing about politics, amens and so on. And but it's good. The report said some loyalists of former President Buhari are moving to SDP. So is it a signal that the former president himself, his body language may be shifting? But the progressive governors came out to say that no, they only went there to pay homage and to see how he's doing after 2 APC, maybe thinking in that direction. We don't know as it is, because none of them has come out to say he's defecting. The electioneering season will soon be here. INEC will declare open the season, and a lot of these activities will be up. Let's see what happens. They didn't disclose the details of their meeting with the former president, so we cannot be doing guesswork. But a number of them were there, and some of them are being rumored to be considering a defection. Whether that happens now or in the future, we'll wait to see.
All right, Fanan.
Okay, now that takes us to the next newspaper, which is the Delhi Independent, and then this comes with a banner headline: police disperse protesters with tear gas in Port Harcourt, Abuja. All right, so we have NYC, that's the kicker. It's a proposed extension to 2 years dead on arrival. That in the same newspaper is after Trump's tariff, federal government may review 2025 budget assumptions. Labour Party crisis, that's a kicker. Abure faction warns Obi Oti over anti-party activities. and dollars investment. Federal government says it may hit $1 billion by end of this year 2025. Experts see NNPCL restructuring, unlocking firms' full capacity. And here is a kicker: insecurity, redesign security architecture. Afeni Ferre tells federal government. Nigeria, Sweden resolve to deepen bilateral ties. So these are some of the stories we have there. Police disperse protesters with tear gas in Port Harcourt, Abuja. You know, that happened yesterday. You know, when the National Police Day, so prominent Nigerians, including Nigerians who are speaking online and a whole lot of that. And there, among other things, they call bad policies of the current government.
And the state of emergency in Rivers State.
Yes, I think they had strong points there. But my concern is that yesterday was a National Police Day, and then we know the history of protests in this country, how they have led into several chaoses and all that. So I was thinking that because the police the previous day or 2 days before yesterday had said, no, we are holding our day of Monday, which will draw people from across the world to Nigeria. So why not hold down till this is over? But they still went ahead despite the day. So what do you have to say in that regard? Because I was thinking maybe they should have waited, because police are critical in a protest condition like yesterday's.
Well, my take on this is that the timing of that protest for me was poor. There is no denying the fact that the Nigerian police have contributed. The men, officers and men of the Nigerian police force have made sacrifices and contributed immensely to the unity of this country. Yes, no organization is perfect across the world. Even in America, we have seen cases where policemen do one or two things wrongly. So the recent one being the Black Lives Matter incident. But police are celebrated across the world. So if you withdraw the police from the streets, the society will be in trouble. Honestly. So for anyone to time that protest to coincide with the National Day of the Nigerian Police was not good enough. They would have allowed the police to have their day. They deserve to be celebrated. We have had, even amongst us, our relations who have been in the police, many of them retired in a meritorious manner. They served this country very well. So if you say,
is that some of them have paid a supreme price.
Exactly. Many of them died in the course of duty. So if you say they should not be celebrated, then you are the one who is not being patriotic. Having said that, I also do not agree when protesters are shot at. We saw the issue of Lekki in 2020, where protesters, tear gas is fired at protesters. I don't think this should be the case. Nigeria is a democratic country where we are practicing democracy. So people, and the constitution of this country provides for freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of movement. So when you do not allow people to air their grievances, to protest against what they perceive to be wrongs done to them, then it's wrong. You are the one who is wrong. So protest of take it back. Yes, it's related to the cybercrime law and all of that. But for me, Nigerians will always have a right to say something concerning the governance of this country. So what is in protest is going to move from Unity Fountain to this point in Abuja. In Port Harcourt, is going to move from here to here. In Lagos, this is why it's going to move from here to here. By the way, the former President Buhari, the current President Tinubu were all part of protests against Jonathan in those days. And the protests in Lagos lasted for days. And the Jonathan administration was very, very to work for days. You know, so I think we should emulate that. Nigeria didn't collapse so that they will provide them cover. This is done to stop hoodlums from hijacking the protest and then looting shops on the streets and so on. So it is very important that the security agencies are notified.
That brings us to the next issue, which is a proposed extension of 2 years dead. NYSC proposed extension of 2 years dead on arrival. This is one debate that has been.
And the first time I heard it, I was like, what will they be doing for 2 years?
There are people who believe that during the 2 years, they will be trained, they will be equipped, to be industry players.
Well, in the absence of job creation, that is another way of creating jobs. At least 2 years, you can call it internship. 2 years, if you are maybe in a secondary school, you are teaching for 2 years. I will also suggest that if you are doing that, if you say, okay, 2 years, then move their allowances to maybe 100,000.
Okay.
Yes, and then give them 2 years. They should know that, okay, they're having 2 year employment. And that also counts for their CVs, so that when they finish the 2 years, of service, they would have it would count that they have 2 years experience that is required, 2 years work experience that is required in job seeking, and that will help. So 2 years, 1 year mandatory service, then the other year for without the khaki, if you will. They take off the khaki after 1 year. That's in my own thinking. They take off the khaki after 1 year and they do real work for the other year, and then the service ends. It's not bad if it is done properly. I think our youths will like it, because what is important is that they will have their salaries coming in an uninterrupted manner, and that is good enough.
When I took part of that program, I thought a lot of things about it, because I thought that if the federal government wishes, I think that program is one program it could use to better the lots of Nigerian youths, because that is the only place that I know that youth the data of youth is nicely found. You can partner with universities, with the scheme itself.
Absolutely.
And then empower the youth. For instance, this Said that we do on a playful note that, most of the coppers that they sleep during Said. This kind of thing, you could make it more attractive, after that, fund people to start real ventures, than what has been now. Because I expected a change, actually, a restructuring of that scheme. But 2 years.
I will suggest that 1 year, the first year should be mandatory. The second year should be optional.
For you.
Because because some of these youths are taken to terrains that are very difficult, and even their safety may not be guaranteed there. So if you say 2 years mandatory, it will be too much, asking too much. Some villages do not have electricity, and you go to stay in a city that makes life worth the while, and then you are asked mandatorily to stay there for 2 years. I don't think it's good enough. So for me, 1 year mandatory with khaki, then the other year optional. Those who intend to stay back for the second year should notify the NYSC, and then they are registered for the second year to continue. I think that's what.
Yes, and of course, I guess that's the fear of the stakeholders, the fact that young people finding themselves in terrains that are difficult to navigate, and then not having the proper incentives to do the work. Or maybe, what do you think, Fane? I'm just thinking, what could make the stakeholders say this is dead on arrival? That's how we put it.
There's several issues there. There's also the issue of age. Because some are afraid that by the time you finish, maybe you are 30, you are 30 something, and that there are some government agencies in this country that once you are more than 27, they say they don't want to employ you again. So I think that's one of the fears.
That's why I said it can be optional. They say the first year will be mandatory, and after that first year, you are given your certificate of your POP certificate. All right, which means you have when you are given your certificate, you are under NYSC for 2 years, voluntarily decide, because remember the NYSC is mandatory.
Yeah.
That's why if you are within the age limit and you do not go for service, you are denied employment. You will go for any job application, they tell you to provide your NYC certificate or the exemption.
That's right.
So if it is said to be mandatorily first year mandatory, second year optional, I think all these issues will not be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
look at the next paper, because I was thinking we've talked about politics already, because
right.
It says Labour Party Abure faction wants a BOT over anti-party activities, and I was just wondering the seriousness of opposition, because opposition has a critical role to play in a democratic setting like ours, certainly. But with the current opposition we have in this country, you know, PDP just resolved one other issue there, the Anyang stuff there the other day, and these are people that are supposed to be holding the current government, the incumbent government, accountable, but they are busy fighting here and there. So of what benefit is that to us, the masses, that they are supposed to help us in keeping these people under check?
Every human affair must have agreements and disagreements. So if you say because there are opposition parties, then they shouldn't have disagreements, then it's wrong. We agree, we disagree to agree. So, but what makes a political party strong is if you disagree and then you go in disarray. That's where the problem is. The Labour Party is also peopled by human beings, right? Is controlled by human beings. So you should expect them to have issues like the PDP, APC. It's everywhere. You know, no political issues. What matters is how do you Peter Obi, Abure faction, and all of those heading into the 2027 elections. That is where it will be counterproductive.
All right, let's touch ground on Vanguard this morning, and the banner headline: Cyber Crime Act, Emergency Rule Protest. Please, protesters clash in Abuja, Port Harcourt. We also have a global tariff war. Federal government will review impact on Nigeria. Edun. And then LP crisis, which Fana just brought up, Abure OBOT, summon parallel NEC meetings. Tedo Petersai chairs Vanguard Personality of the Year Award. And then still in Vanguard newspaper this morning, we have Afe Babalola to National Assembly. Stop approving substandard universities. And then reverse Fubara's suspension. U.S. Law Institute tax Tinubu. And just one story I want us to touch on, which is stop approving substandard universities. You think we have numerous of such cases?
Well, I don't know the patriotic core. Universities are the citadels. That is the highest of academic learning or higher. Insist on quality, then you'll be jeopardizing the future of the nation. So for anyone to want to run a university, to float a university, such a person or group should be prepared, should have what it takes, because you are going to have the cream of the country's population. You are going to have the most critical part of the country's population to train them. People of young age, in their teens and some in their early 20s, for you to train them to become useful adults for this country. So if you go for half measures, if you do not insist on top quality, then you are taking the future of the country for a ride. So that call is very important. Universities and those who have been found to be lowering the standard should be encouraged to step up the standard, or even scrapped if need be, because a graduate from a university should be able to hold his own anywhere in the world. So I don't believe that we should allow the standard to fall. If you do not insist on high quality, then you are the one joking with the future of Nigeria.
Okay, to the exciting world of sports. Not done yet. Iwobi still setting the pace in best ever season, and that's the biggest story there in the Punch Sports Extra. Napoli United in Osimhen talks. We have Fernandes blames KDB for United trophy struggles. United to rival Chelsea over for Dilap. We have Joshua backed to win Dubois rematch. Bassi can reach Van Dog's level. All right, so these are some of the stories in the sports Punch Sports Extra. The biggest story not done yet. You know, Iwobi, after success in January, has also brought forward his success to April. With the Sunday match, he was able to assist. He was very critical in that in that way.
Yeah, I spoke about Nigerian players here the other time. They are very good in their clubs, but when they come for national team duties, you don't see that top quality in them. Iwobi is one of them. He plays like someone whose boots do not have studs. And I wonder, but you see him in Fulham colours doing great. And so I expect the same commitment, the same passion when they come to play for the Super Eagles. And then the story of Osimhen going to Manchester United, you will know that I would like that story. I actually would love to see him move to Old Trafford to play for Manchester United, because he is a type of Manchester United player. And we are looking forward to winning the Europa Cup. And I'm a fan of Manchester United. So we are looking forward to winning this season's Europa Cup to be able to bounce back into the Champions League. So Osimhen moving to Manchester United will be a plus for us and a plus for him as well, because he will be playing for one of the best clubs in Europe.
According to you. All right, so at this note, we want to thank you very much, seasoned journalist Tebe Akasu, for your analysis on today's edition of the program.
It is my pleasure always.
Well, thank you very much, Taka. It's been a nice company all along.
Thank you so much, Fanaya.
All right, thank you, our viewers. Thank you, our listeners. Join us next week, Tuesday, for another interesting edition of Newspaper Headlines Review. I'm Fanen Kwana. Stay out of trouble and be a patriotic Nigerian. Good morning.